In this episode of Watching the Watchers, we're talking about Phoenix police officer Marcos Rodriguez. If you or somebody you know or love has been cited, stopped, or arrested by Officer Rodriguez, you're going to want to pay closer attention to this video. So the reason we started Watching the Watchers is because over the course of representing thousands of people facing criminal charges, we have found that when there's police misconduct, where there's any sort of problem with an officer involved in one of our cases, the prosecuting agencies or the police agencies, they don't want to tell us about it. They don't think that we have a right to know about it. They'll come up with a number of different reasons. They'll say, well, the case is still pending against that officer, or the officer hasn't completed their appeals, or the misconduct just doesn't involve anything that requires us to disclose it to you. So they won't tell us, or they'll do their best not to tell us. We think, however, that this all should be disclosed to us. Anything that impugns the integrity of an officer or anything that was outside of standard police policy should be disclosed to us. But because they don't tell us about it, that's fine. We'll tell you about it when we find out about it. So in this particular case, we're talking about Officer Rodriguez. Now, this story comes from the Associated Press, and the headline is that Phoenix agrees to a settlement over police officer stalking allegations. So the reason why we have this blank person here is because I don't have a file photo for this officer. This is the close that we can do. But what this article is saying is that this officer was following or basically stalking a woman and made unwanted sexual advances towards her while he was on duty, while he was on the job. Wasn't actually charged with a crime from the article, but a lawsuit was filed by this woman against this officer, and the city of Phoenix has tentatively agreed to settle the lawsuit. From the article, it says that in August 2018, there was an encounter. He made asked several times if he could kiss her, made sexually suggestive comments and gestures towards her, and he gave her a demonstration by pointing a gun at her and giving her a demonstration of how he would act if an attacker took his gun away. So obviously this is kind of a traumatic thing for somebody to experience. The woman is claiming that she has to now take medications for depression, anxiety, insomnia. It says that he abused his power, so on and so forth. The city attorney, who is representing the City of Phoenix Police Department, apparently didn't return any phone calls. There was no phone listing for this officer in particular, but it was a big problem because this officer continued to do this stuff. A lot of kind of invasive sexual comments were made. There's a Phoenix New Times article that really goes into it in a little bit more detail, kind of a lot of vulgar commentary that was happening back and forth. He eventually said something to the effect of he could instruct her on sex because he's the police and can do what he wants to her. That's according to the lawsuit and according to this article. So it's obviously a problem. You know, an officer is not supposed to be doing that type of stuff. That is misconduct. It's outside of policy for them to do that. The problem here is that this officer was in violation of police policy. Now, if he's violating the policy here, you're not supposed to do that, of course, while you're on duty. Who's to say that this officer didn't violate other policies? So if this officer was investigating you on a DUI case or a domestic violence case or any other type of charge, did he follow policy in that case? Well, it's up for debate now because we have record that this officer is prone to violating policy. It's called Brady material. It's exculpatory material. We think that you should know about it. We don't know if the prosecutor is going to disclose the settlement or disclose this article in your particular case. We think they certainly should. If you or somebody you know or love was stopped, cited, arrested by Officer Marcos Rodriguez, make sure you give our office a call. We offer free case evaluations. We'll review your case specifically. We'll see how this case, this settlement might impact your particular situation, and most importantly, make sure you understand how we can help you get through this entire ordeal. So give us a call. As I said, free case evaluations. You have literally nothing to lose. We look forward to speaking with you soon, and thanks for watching.